Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside the Lost Provinces, the Thai Blitzkrieg in French Indochina, January 10th through the 28th, 1941. This is a game designed by John Gorkowski and published by Hollandspiele. Let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. It says here, the shocking defeat of France in 1940 created a unique opportunity for Thailand to regain territory it had lost decades before. When Vichy France refused to give it back, fascist leader Plak Phiban-Songkhram launched a blitzkrieg attack in January 1941. The fighting stopped 18 days later, and with Japanese mediation, Thailand won back her lost provinces. This obscure conflict is the subject of designer John Gorkowski's The Lost Provinces. This is a simple, small, and soloable game that can be played in an evening with new wargamers and grognards alike. It often utilizes traditional mechanisms, but with twists and nuances that make them fresh again. For example, combat strengths are compared to arrive at odds ratios, but those ratios are expressed via a die roll modifier rather than a column on a CRT, which results in greater uncertainty about how a given battle might turn out. The attacking Thai forces use army, artillery, and air power to bear in along three separate thrust lines. The French forces are more concentrated and have the advantage of defending along interior lines. They'll have to know when to retreat and when to make the Thai player fight for every hex. It says here the contents. It comes with a 22 by 17 inch map sheet, 88 counters, a display sheet, 8-page rulebook, and 2 6-sided dice. And on the side, the game says here it is for 2 players. It is 90 minutes in duration, solitaire suitability is high, and it is introductory weight. So that is what the game's all about. We'll take a look inside and see what you get. And there's the 2d6, the 8-page rulebook. Let's see if I can get this thing to pop out. Our counter sheet, and looks like a player mat, and our map. So let's get this all put aside. I'll put out the map and we'll take a look at it from here. So we got the map laid out, and first thing I got to say is this is a very pretty color palette. I really like not only the graphics on the map, but it's just very visually appealing to look at. Another great map from Hollandspiele, and they really do a great job with their maps. They do a great job with their games from top to bottom, but really enjoy their maps. This is, let me get the designer so I can give the map designer credit. It is designed, the map art and display sheet is designed by Jose Ramon Faura. So I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I apologize if I'm not, but great design, Jose, and really enjoy this map. This is the display sheet. Gives you your land combat table, attacker defender losses, die roll modifiers, your records track, Thai airfields, French airfields, your ships, Gulf of Siam, and Cameron. So you've got those on the side, and we'll take a look at these counters next. This is a very low counter density game, as you can see. Very small counter sheet, just a few counters, so very easy to manage, especially if you're playing, as the game says, playing it with a new wargamer, or if you're going to solo it, this is very easy to handle. But really like the look of these counters. Put those on the side, and this is an 8-page rulebook. So we'll see here what this is all about. Gives you a little bit of historical background in the introduction, and goes over the components, and then the conventions, which explains the scale, the sides, units and markers, stacking, steps, control, and then the explanation of what's on each of these counters. You've got your setup groups, your combat factor and movement factor, your standard left and right numbers. You have Marine, Paratroop, Cavalry, Tank, Motorized, Train, and Artillery units. And then you have, for the naval units, gunnery is on the left and armor is on the right. And then you have your steps on how to set up the play, how to win, and game turn. You allocate your air units, determine initiative, first and second side turns, and then your admin phase. Then it explains how each of these steps work. You have your side turn, supply phase with an example of play, illustrated example of play, a nice color, movement phase, your naval moves, land moves, how to handle contact and attack preparation. And another example, this is an example of contact and attack preparation here. Then you have your combat phase for naval combat, land combat, and then the determination of modifiers. And then you have your land combat dice roll, your losses, retreat, advance, and another example here. This is a combat example. And then we're on the back of the rulebook already, and there's your setup and your order of battle options that you can use if you want to have some optional adjustments to the game. But let's go back here real quick and take a look at this land combat example and see what it is they're talking about that's a little different here. Okay, so how combat works here is your first step is to determine the modifiers, then the second step is roll dice, and 3 is to apply the result. So for determining modifiers, there are 3 categories of modifiers: air superiority, combined arms, and odds. Modifiers in favor of the attacker are added to the die roll, modifiers in favor of the defender are subtracted. And when you have air superiority over the battle hex, you modify the dice roll by 1. For your combined arms, if you have at least 1 armor or artillery unit involved and the other has none, then the former has the combined arms advantage and modifies the die roll by 1. And then for the odds, you sum the combat factors for each side. Each unit's factors may be modified as follows, with each modification made in order before the next. These are cumulative. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there are several here for the attacker. There are 4 for the attacker. Well, I can just list them out real quick. Out of supply units being halved, non-artillery units attacking across the river are halved, armor units attacking into a hex that contains no jungle or mountain are doubled, and then for artillery units attacking into a hex that is not dug in, they are also doubled. And the defenders you get out of the supply units are halved, second, dug in units are doubled, and third, infantry and mountain hexes are also doubled. And then you compare the total modified combat factors and arrive at a ratio. Attacking to defending strength rounded mathematically. For some examples, 13 attacking 10 is 1.3 to 1, rounded to 1 at 1. Then you have your land combat roll and losses, and then retreat advance. But that is a look at how the combat in this works, because it is a little bit different. This looks like a really neat little game and something that you can get on the table real quick and play at solitaire, or if you're got some friends that are been kind of, dabbling with the idea of trying out a war game, this is the one that might fit the bill. So if you're interested in this conflict or interested in unique conflicts, if you're a Hollandspiele fan, you're probably interested in unique stuff anyway, because that's what they do. They definitely cover a lot of unique circumstances, situations, and conflicts. So give this one a look. If you're looking, like I said, intro war game, or you want to have something to share with your friends and get them hooked on the hobby, this is one that will fit the bill. That is the Lost Provinces from Hollandspiele. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.